Welcome to Mandemic Mondays, woohoo! The only podcast hosted by best friends who have nothing in common, except their name. I'm Mandy Kaplan.
And I'm Mandy Fabian. And every week we get together to review the latest Netflix release and talk about, other things that are keeping us sane during this crazy time we like to call the Mandemic. We may need to have like a hard out. We either need to keep our lives crazy or we'll have a hard out for when the Mandemic is over.
It's today in California.
I know.
Right, love? It's official.
Yeah. So we'll just get back to like Mandy Mondays, which is still like a virus that creeps inside your brain and it's a long haul virus. Like once we get inside you, we don't get out.
Yeah. There are very few antibiotics.
Yeah.
Treatments.
Nothing can fight against the voices in your brain.
A mask will not keep us out of your mouth.
Hell no. Mm-hmm. Almost nothing does. It's a reputation we've built. That'll be our new tagline. Nothing can keep us out of your mouths.
I love it.
Well, this is a good week.
In the Heights.
It was a high week in the Heights. Yes. For those people with their head in the ground and who don't know anything about how to enjoy life, why don't you explain what In the Heights is?
Start the clock. In the Heights was a Tony Award-winning musical by Lin Manuel Miranda that took Broadway by storm in 2008.
Oh.
And it took this long to get a film version of it.
Oh.
And it was directed by John Chu, who I'll say it right now, he's a genius and it was incredible. He did Crazy Rich Asians. All his work is very colorful and he creates these worlds. It really is the story of Washington Heights, a small community that is all like a family. And you follow a bunch of different stories and see how this community keeps them all connected and supports their dreams.
You had to introduce it because you know all that stuff. Like I didn't know. I knew it was a musical, but I didn't know it was 2008. That's a long time ago. I thought it was more recent than that.
No, I know some stuff.
Wow. And
he wrote it when he was in college, dude.
And then when I watched the musical, oh, he did. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So he wrote this. Oh, he did this before Hamilton. Okay. So he did In the Heights and then he went away and he's like, I have another one for you, kids. Mm-hmm. Okay. See, I didn't know any of that stuff. And in fact, until I watched the movie, I did, when you said no bodega at the end of our last podcast, I was like, okay, slow your roll. Like I just thought you were trying to be cute because it was a movie about a Latinx community, so I
don't have to try.
Yeah, it was adorable. But it's a title of a song in the musical.
Sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is.
I thought that the opening, like the first 7 minutes is like beyond amazing. The way that
I've never done heroin, but it was like cinematic heroin, I assume.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. And I don't know about you, but like, holy crap. Like Anthony Ramos, like 30 seconds in and I'm leaving my husband already.
Yeah. Which I fully support because I'd like to hang out with him.
Yeah.
It is pronounced Ramos.
Oh, okay.
And
well, not between us, but I get it.
Oh, okay. If you have pet names,
we have a thing
from me.
Yeah. Well, I call him Ramos, but it's cool. Everybody loves Ramos.
It was one of those performances where you're like, and A Star Is Born.
Oh
right?
God, yeah, no.
A cinematic
the first half,
superstar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh. All those close-up of his sparkly blue eyes. And he did. Yeah. He wore too much clothing consistently.
I agree. That's where John Chu, I feel like, really missed the mark.
I wanted to be like, take it off.
I would have appreciated an all-nude version of all of them because for the most part, real beautiful people. I did post online. This is I was watching it and I was compelled to post on Twitter. Do you think that Anthony Ramos and Jimmy Smits would be interested in a throuple, asking for a friend? So now I've said throuple. This is my third time using the word throuple in our podcast. And I feel but also I mean it sincerely.
Oh.
If those two men showed up at my door, I would be like, I could spend the rest of my life with both of you. I could figure out things to do with both of you for the rest of my life and be completely happy.
Okay.
I'm sorry to my family and friends who I would never speak to again because I would run away with both of them.
Putting it out there.
I love them so much. I've always had a huge thing for Jimmy Smits. I mean, God.
Victor Cifuentes from LA Law, right?
Ooh,
even as a kid.
Yeah.
Well, my crush is probably, other than Anthony Ramos, is on Leslie Grace. She was Nina. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so she was very good. I was camp. It's not Veronica.
Vanessa.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was camp Vanessa. I thought she was super compelling. Yeah. You like all the things that I don't. I was so high after the first opening number. It was like heroin. You're right. It was such injected in the veins.
The way John Chu used reflections in windows throughout the movie, and that like you see the world through their windows and reflected back, and things happening on both sides of the glass. I don't know how you shoot that way, but it was that first entire sequence.
Yep.
Was glorious.
Yeah. And choreographed, but still very filmic, right? So like, it didn't feel like you were just trying to do a Broadway musical on the streets of New York. It was filmic. I'm really proud of you, by the way, for commenting on the use of reflections in windows. Like, that's a very astute cinematic point of view. You have been learning a lot from doing this podcast with me, I feel like. You know what I mean?
Entirely my idea. Shut up, Pete, when you listen to this. Pete sent me a link and he's like, look at this shot in the window. And so
Wait a minute. You're getting help? You're getting help from the outside to sound smart during these things? That's not fair.
Pete likes me better. It's not my fault.
Everybody likes you better. That's why we're doing this podcast. I'm trying to win people over with my wild stories of masturbating and larts. Just so I could be more likable. There you go. Right. That makes sense now.
You think larding is going to make you more likable?
God, yes. Everybody does it. Nobody says it. Okay. I'm a truth teller. Yeah.
Okay. So for those, I want to start with an Easter egg because I watched the first half with Casey and Jer, and this made them flip out. So Pete, if you could play minute 30 and 20 seconds so we can hear that hold music when Jimmy Smits is on the phone.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Hi, Mr. Rosario.
Yes, I'm here.
And that was You'll Be Back from Hamilton, done as cheesy music.
I loved that so much. And also, as a filmmaker, I appreciate it because they're like, what do we have the rights to? I know it was an Easter egg, but also I know that I used all of my music in my movie because I had to.
Right.
I guess In the Heights probably had a slightly bigger budget than the film I did.
Perhaps.
But I used all of my music. The stuff playing on the radio, the songs they're singing along to, the song they sing at the wedding, it's all mine. Because I was like, oh.
Well, then I'll know it all.
You will. You'll be able to sing back up to...
yeah, exactly. I thought that was just a
so cute
homage for all our, for the Hamilton fans out there and the, Lin Manuel fights as I am.
Have you ever been in a blackout in New York City?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, and I was a lot less annoying about it. Oh my God.
I can imagine. I can imagine you would be so calm during a blackout.
It's just a chance to hook up with people's boyfriends and they can't see you.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
100%. No, you're never wrong.
The fireworks and if we're going to start with the blackout, I mean, by then I was quite annoyed and turned off by this movie. I only liked the first hour.
Oh my God. Okay. This is interesting because I also did not like it after the first hour. Is this possible? I thought for sure you would be like just dancing around the living room and singing and just happy that it was happening.
I was not.
Okay.
And I've never been a fan of In the Heights. I was never a fan of the show, of the soundtrack of the Broadway show.
Well, the truth comes out. Mm-hmm.
And then this movie for me was like several incredible music videos smashed together with a very slow, nonsensical story. I was not so turned on by the plot, but I like a lot of the filmmaking. That my takeaway is like really beautiful filmmaking couldn't save what I consider to be a weak book.
Now that is, I feel very proud that, you've watched every musical under the sun. Like, all of them. You know the stories. You constantly make references to people that I think I should know and I don't.
All my biblical knowledge comes from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat and Jesus Christ Superstar. And I can go toe to toe on those subjects.
Well, and I can't tell sinner or saint. Like, you should get into the Bible more, but we'll talk about that later. But no, that's so interesting. I felt the same way. I was like, in fact, my kids, because I watched it with my kids, and they were like, well, what's that song? What is it about, Mom? Like, what's that song she's singing? Like, what is she singing about? And it would be this beautiful, like when the grandmother is in the subway singing about being in Cuba, but she's in a subway and there's all these people and there's a tunnel. And I'm like, I think she's dying, kids. Not sure. Hang on. And then I like rewound it and listened to the song again. I was like, I think if this song would have made better sense if she was like sitting on a stage and I was listening to the words and I could actually get my hands on the emotional journey she was taking. But you're right. It was so music video-y. I thought the same thing about them dancing up the side of the building. Like it's a cool trick. But I was like, I have no idea what that song's about. It's a cool trick. But I still don't know what the story was necessarily. Are they dating? Are they breaking up?
I would agree with what you're saying about like the filmmaking almost detracted from the lyrics and being able to parse the story.
I did not say almost. I did not say it almost detracted. I'm going to go so far as say it did, but go ahead.
Well, what I want to say about Abuela's song, which Pete, if you can play our 1 minute 25, the end of that song where she says, I made it through, I survived. Those vocals, I just thought were so powerful. And I thought that this actress, Olga Meredes, was amazing. She was in the original Broadway cast.
I made it through. I survived. I did it. Now, do I leave or stay? Mama. Okay. Paciencia y fe.
Daniela! Call 911!
Okay.
Call 911!
The fact that you were like, I think she might be dying is hilarious because it ain't good when old people start sweating and smiling. So she lay down, sweating and smiling, and I was like, oh, right. I know what's about to happen.
Is that a cue? Is that a musical theater cue or a life cue? Because I haven't...
And it is never a good combination when an old person lays down, sweating and smiling.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's like, I have to call 80% of my family right now because they're usually drunk. So they're smiling and they're always sweating. I mean, we're just sweaty people. So, okay. I have a lot to look forward to.
The best number, and who cares what they were singing, was 96,000.
Oh, yeah.
Good God, the filmmaking, the choreography. Christopher Scott is the choreographer. I just need to keep saying his name because I think the choreography was flawless in this movie.
Yeah. No, flawless. I agree. And they were all such good dancers.
Right.
Oh.
Even Anthony Ramos.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't do enough of it.
Is he not normally he was fully a dancer, right?
Yeah,
no?
but he didn't do enough of it. You know how it's always like the lead stands there and steps and snaps while the rest of it. So he jumped in a couple of times and did some difficult dance moves, but I wanted more of it.
Yes, and shirtless. I think we've established that. Yeah. Okay, all clothesless. Yeah. Yes.
Let's just
that'll be
do that.
Let's write a musical called Clothesless and we'll cast him in it.
I love it.
We'll figure out a story so it doesn't feel like we're just exploiting his body, because you can't do that these days. But we'll
him too, yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to, or we can just create a clothesless character on our new network series, Handy Mandy.
Yeah,
that we started to create. Okay. Mm-hmm.
No, I got it. I love it. To last week's episode, I remember. Meanwhile, this movie brought to you by fanny packs. Everyone had a fanny pack.
Yeah, what's that about? Well, it's New York City. You can't have a big purse. You get back pain.
That could
gotta have keys to an apartment. Gotta have a subway pass. I remember the good old days of living in New York. Did you see how many people tried to steal from that store? Like, you gotta have your shit close to you, I guess. I also want to say that I think fanny packs are just an extension of people's apartments because apartments are so small. It's like an entry table. You don't have room for one. So instead you use a fanny pack and just carry it with you.
Were you invested in the story, or is that just me that's heartless?
I cared about Jimmy Smits, not just because I love him, but I was intrigued by that idea that his daughter got into Stanford and he had to find some way to pay for it. She didn't want him to. Like, I liked that part.
Because your girls are going Ivy League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, how are we going to pay for Harvard? Because for me, it's that or nothing else, you know? Or more importantly, how do we pay the guy to get us into Harvard? That's still happening, right?
Absolutely. Side door.
Yeah, I'm more interested in the back door. But anyway, I mean, as a sexual position, I'm not referencing the show. I'm talking about sex.
Yeah, got it.
So I was interested in Vanessa and Usnavi, right?
Yep.
At the very beginning, I was like, this is hot. I want to see this. I'm excited. And then he left her on that whole fight scene when they were dancing. I dropped right out of that story, and I could have cared less if they ever shared one kiss or had kids. I didn't care.
When the ghost of Cha-Cha Di Gregorio appeared at the club out of nowhere and took him away. It was so manufactured.
Super weird, yeah.
You went to get a drink instead of dancing with me. Now we can't talk. It was...
Yeah. None of it made any sense that they would give up on each other and that he was such a jerk to her after being... none of it made any sense. I agree. That's so interesting. We are agreeing. What did you think? Were you invested in the story?
No, I made a note like, hey, it's 1 hour in and I don't care.
Huh? Yeah.
I was just waiting for the next number or next visual candy, but I was not invested in the story. And I think that's a flaw in the original story. Like, there's so many characters and we're supposed to all be in love with Abuela, who's not. We should all have an Abuela in our lives. But we know that's leading to her death. And then Usnavi and Vanessa have the romance, and Usnavi has his dreams of getting out, and Benny and Nina have their romance, and you're not quite sure what's happening. And then Nina has the drama with her father. What are we supposed to cling to? Yeah. And get swept away?
Yeah, everybody had their issues. The lady of the salon was so pissed that nobody was mad that she was moving her salon, which I did. I also, and this is my bad. I was like, she's moving to the Bronx. Aren't they in the Bronx? I was trying to explain to my kids where Washington Heights was, and I was like, it's in the Bronx. No, wait, it's not. No, wait, is it? No, it's Manhattan. Or is it? I don't know. There were rivers and bridges. I lost it, which I should know. But I didn't quite understand that. I also didn't understand, did Abuela live with somebody? She was cooking. Whose apartment did she die in? Where did she live? Did they live together? She and Usnavi? Like, I was confused about the geography and how all these people were having dinner and where they were having that party.
Very long, boring dinner party that only got exciting when Kevin and Nina got in a fight. But I don't know her exact street address, but I don't think she lived with anybody. She was the neighborhood Abuela, which I love. Like he says in VO, I think, like, you know, we all just turned to her. She was like always in our lives. She's not anybody's blood relative.
How did she leave that lottery ticket for him? But which, by the way, when that happened, I didn't win the lottery ticket when he found it in his apartment. I was like, where'd that come from? I didn't understand that it was Abuela. It took me, they had to explain it to me in the thing. I wasn't automatically like, oh, I was like, I don't know how that happened. Because I couldn't figure out where she lived.
Yeah, it's a comfort because I felt like there were details that I was like, oh, okay, I'm not quite sure. All right. You know, it just didn't keep me. Yeah. And I don't know where she lived. But I do have a question, a personal question. Did your girls make it through?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They're very, very forgiving of everything musical. They love it, all of it. They made it all the way through, and then they wanted to go back and watch the beginning again.
Wow.
Yeah. How about you?
Your kids are way better than mine.
Oh, definitely. No, I'm glad.
1 hour.
Should we stop talking about the movie and just talk about that for the rest of the podcast?
Sure. Well, they're taller than Casey. An hour in, and Casey was like, Mom? And I was like, go ahead, go upstairs. I don't care. You know, like, because we had been talking about seeing this for weeks and weeks and weeks. And we had watched the trailer many times, and he was so excited. Lin Manuel, and it was very boring for him. Except, I mean, he loved the opening number at 96,000. And then I had him watch When the Sun Goes Down, which is I'm on the balcony at the end. I was like, Casey, get down here. And I made him watch that number, which he loved.
Well, you made a classic error. First of all, it sounds like Casey might actually be better than my children because he has, taste. But but what I am going to say is you made that classic error of expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like every time I go to see a movie and this is what I wondered about this thing too, which is why I'm kind of glad that you're echoing my thoughts, because I thought, was I just so looking forward to this that I'm now shitting on it because it didn't meet my expectations of being Hamilton, swept away.
Right.
Oh my God, I can't stop singing these songs. I laughed, I cried. I did barely either of those things.
Right.
But I will say that when Benny showed up, I didn't think Abuela was going to go. I thought Benny was going to get it because that actor who played Benny, what's his name?
Corey Hawkins.
Holy God, he is so... Now, he's the movie star to me. I didn't think it was... I mean, Anthony Ramos is incredible and beautiful, but with the emotional stuff later, I thought he was pushed and I wasn't in love with him the whole way through the movie. But I loved Benny. I thought he hit every note pitch perfect, and he's so charismatic, and he glows on screen.
He's so smooth.
Oh yeah, and such a good dancer.
He's so smooth when he sings, when he moves. Ooh.
Yeah, and he's funny, and he like made the most out of that material. I found him just so watchable that truthfully, like 30 seconds into watching him, I was like, oh, he's gonna die, because in musicals, somebody's gotta die. And I was like, it'll be him, and he'll be the guy that has inspired everyone to keep going or chase their dreams or whatever. Now, he didn't die. I'm glad.
In some musicals like Cats, you wish everybody would die, but it just doesn't happen.
Now, I didn't feel that way. Well, I saw the stage play when I was 8, so you really can't. I mean, I didn't want anybody to die then. In fact, I listened to Cats religiously, like through high school and even into college, Mandy. I'm embarrassed to say it, but it was the first musical I ever saw, and I used to listen to it and think it was the best music. And then I introduced my kids to Cats, and dear God, I wish I had not done that. Because then they were
huge.
Oh, then they wanted to listen to it all the time, and I was like, this is garbage.
It's not good.
Oh, no. Yeah. But I thought it was amazing as a kid, so...
Well, this was better than Cats.
Yeah, this is way better than Cats.
In every way.
Yeah. I want to talk about two things.
Please.
There's the courtyard scene at the end when he's like, come on, are we just going to... I didn't understand...
Carnival de Barrio?
I guess. I really felt like they're all bouncing and singing, and it was very happy singing and really fun. And I could see they were very passionate. Like, he's trying to convince the whole neighborhood of something. And then they're all singing in these beautiful harmonies, and like, they're all agreeing to whatever it is. But I'm sitting there going, but what is it, guys? Like, what are we... Okay. It's just dancing and singing, but I was like, what's the story point? Like, what are we celebrating? Is it because...
I believe it's a celebration of life and community and neighborhood and
that's just stupid. See, that doesn't work for me. Who would celebrate that?
It's interesting because I heard Lin Manuel Miranda interviewed, and he said the reviews came out in 2008, and it was positive reviews, but that several high-powered critics mentioned that it's all about the Latinx culture, except there's no crime. It seems whitewashed.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Airbrushed, whitewashed. I forget which phrase he used. That
holy
what
shit.
He wanted to do was tell a story about celebrating this community, the community he grew up in and loved so dearly. And that didn't seem believable, because where's all the gangs and the crime?
Oh, wow. That is... Oh. What I will say, that's interesting, because I think it was a great celebration of the community. I loved all the love. I loved seeing all these characters and how they relied on each other. I felt, there were some things that were a little bit like, wait, she moved downtown and now she can't create, so she comes back to the neighborhood to get her inspiration. Like, I believe that, but I feel like it was a little bit maybe formulaic. Like, what's the word? Like, it was sort of just laid out there when she could have come back and gotten inspired without being like, oh no, I can't paint a thing now that I'm downtown. Like, there were things, that felt a little
right.
But the story that compelled me the most was wanting to go to El Salvador and open his dad's bar. I would have liked to see or hear or understand more about that.
Mhm.
There was just, and I thought Sunny's story was interesting.
Yep.
I was really into Sunny's story.
And
then
Sunny
I thought,
was played by, on Broadway, Anthony Ramos.
oh, interesting.
Full circle.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. I
Mhm.
thought the stories of the way the neighborhood was changing and the way that, she struggled when she went to Stanford, all that stuff I thought was great in terms of needing conflict,
Mhm.
But I guess maybe, I don't know. I liked the celebration of the neighborhood, but at that moment it was like they were responding to the doldrums about the blackout. And so maybe that's what it was. I was like, is that the idea is that they all love each other so much that they can turn the lights back on? And they did. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
It was, okay. Second thing.
Yeah.
Daphne Rubin Vega?
Vega. Mhm.
Okay. I don't know, but that's the woman from Rent, right?
Correct.
So was she 60 when she did Rent, or has she just had so much plastic surgery now that she looks like a person who's had a lot of plastic surgery? Or do I just not remember her? I couldn't believe that was her because I feel like we're the same age. Daphne Rubin Vega and I might be around the same age.
Maybe. She was probably in her mid to late 20s when she did Rent.
Yeah. Okay.
And so now it's 30 years later. So she's probably in her 50s, mid 50s. So
did she not have a lot of plastic surgery? Am I imagining that?
I didn't really make note the way I did from the Friends reunion or other things where it's so obvious.
Well, then that's why I had to ask you, because I should have looked up a picture. Maybe I'll look up a picture because I saw her and I was like, oh no, what happened to her? Sometimes when women have it, I think they're having work done. I don't know.
And I am not in general a fan of hers. I was very irritated by her in Rent because of her voice and, won't you light my candle? I was just not a fan. Never has been. I loved her in this. I found her to be joyful and full of character and sounded great. I really liked her.
Her voice was stellar. It was just one of those things where I'm like, I felt like when you get, here's what this is a cautionary tale, man.
Okay.
When you get a lot of plastic surgery, even though you're not old, you look older.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a repeated theme, and I'm doubling down on it.
Okay.
If you work,
I don't know why you're saying it to me like I get a lot of plastic surgery. I feel like now this has turned into my intervention and I'm uncomfortable.
Well, should I ask your mom to leave? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have invited your family to this.
Mom, just leave the letter. Just leave the letter that you wrote and get out.
Well, she wrote a few. So, anyway, that was something I noticed. And I thought, that makes her look older. She's not that old. She's not old at all, but she's had so much plastic surgery. Now I'm like, wait, is she incredibly so much older that she's trying to look so young, but neither thing is working now? I don't know. It's irritating to me. Please reach out on Instagram and tell me why you would have plastic surgery.
And how does somebody find you on Instagram?
Oh, at Mandy Fab is the way to go.
And if you would like to participate in Mandy Fab's intervention with me, reach out to me at Mandy_Kaplan_Clavens.
Wonderful.
So how many man jobs would you give it?
Well, Jesus. I mean, it was a light in the dark in terms of I found it watchable. Like I loved the spectacle and the music, and it was it was fun. It wasn't a great story, but it was fun. So I'm going to give it 4. I'm going to give it 4 whole, hearty man jobs with my full attention.
I go 3.5 and some lube.
Okay.
And for me, it really was just masterful filmmaking. And
yes, really good. Real good. For next time, I know we have a movie picked out for next time.
We do.
But also at the same Instagram accounts where we just said at Mandy Fab and at Mandy_Kaplan_Clavens, it would be great. I would really love to hear suggestions if there's a movie that you want us to watch, any avid listener, if you would like us to review something else, because, there's other things out there and we would love to hate watch your special film.
Yeah, it's getting to be somewhat slim pickings on Netflix and feeling like now we can leave our homes. If there's any suggestions, We'll do anything. We'll pander completely.
Yeah.
We have no standards. So
like send us your home movies. We'll watch those.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
animal videos. Yeah.
Yeah. So man, guess what's been entertaining me while I'm walking my dogs?
I hope it's not diddling and larding.
No, I've been taking I have a side hustle.
Okay.
And listening to Audible.
Yes.
And right now I am being titillated by the book, The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. And I got to tell you, listening to it, I'm enjoying it. And I'm learning that there's some things I need to say yes to.
Like, yes, I won't like Shonda Rhimes anymore. No.
Oh, come on now. It's very inspiring and Audible's so great because it has a lot of books like that. You know what I mean? Like I get all of my self-help goodies. Like I just listened to Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I'm pretty sure you also hated that book.
I have not listened to it yet, and I have the hardcover.
Okay, well you will hate it.
Yeah, I have no desire.
But I love it. It's how I relax. It's how if I'm having a bad day or even like a bad moment, I go right over to my Audible, click on one of my titles, and it makes me happy as a kid in a candy store. So
me too.
There you go.
I listen to thrillers. I love, a good memoir. And it's all there. It's on all your devices.
Yeah.
They have literally everything, and they have a free trial. If you go to audibletrial.com/mandemic.
Yep.
That's our code, people. You pick a book, any book, listen to it. If you decide to stay with Audible, you just keep that book and then you start paying your monthly fee. If you decide not to, you still get to keep the book.
Yeah. Do yourself a favor and go get The Year of Yes. I mean, just say yes. Or, oh, God, you got to listen to the book.
No.
What else have you been up to?
Well, I think I have a show, a live, in-person, on a stage, under the lights show coming up Sunday, June 27th.
Yes.
America, my cabaret show, Miscast, Right Singer, Wrong Song, is coming back.
Oh my God, the vaccine is coursing through my veins as you speak. It's okay. So for anybody who doesn't know about Miscast or hasn't seen Miscast, it is, I'm going to give it 10 man jobs. It is a delightful romp of musical theater, and you always get the best, most talented people, and everybody has so much fun, and it's stupid and silly, but there's also amazing choreography and emotional moments.
You.
Oh my God. No, you put together the most delightful evening, and it's the greatest way to come out of COVID. I'm so excited.
I love my kid and whatever, but this is my pride and joy.
Yeah.
This show is my baby. And for Fandies, they might recall, we have a history of doing many duets in Miscast, but our most recent, I think, was 2019, right after the Oscars, where I was Lady Gaga and you were Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
And we learned our instruments, and it was divine. You can find that on Miscast, Right Singer, Wrong Song on Facebook, or just reach out to us and we'll send you that video.
I'll send it to you every day.
Pure magic.
I became Bradley Cooper. Like I actually had people coming up to me in the audience after and saying like, you resemble Bradley Cooper. Do you get that a lot?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Not one person told me I resembled Lady Gaga.
What? Well,
Not
you were
one.
doing a lot. You're director, choreographer. You're responsible for the whole thing. All I had to do was be Bradley Cooper. And for those 5 minutes right before I went on stage as Bradley Cooper, I want to tell you, I felt like I could fuck anyone.
Well, you could have fucked me. That was clear. Our chemistry was off the charts.
It was off the charts. It teetered into dangerous territory.
It was uncomfortable for a lot of people, much like their performance at the Oscars.
Yeah, Well, so
we nailed it.
We just honored our craft. We did Xanadu. We did a duet from Xanadu. It's a great example of a movie I'd love to rewatch.
Oh, that one's going to need a bottle of wine. So for Miscast, I've been rehearsing with some of the performers, and we do these little one-on-one rehearsals in our homes. And it's what's better than showing up at someone's house, getting to hug the people I haven't gotten to hug for a year and 4 months, and singing and dancing like idiots in their living room or my living room or right here in my studio. I had a rehearsal. And so if anybody's interested in coming out, we do it all for charity for Project Angel Food. And it is Sunday, June 27th. So when this episode drops, it'll be like coming that Sunday. And tickets are at eventbrite.com.
Fantastic.
So
Oh my
there
God.
it is. That's been all consuming. Choreographing and
God.
all of it. I love it.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
Oh, and one time in Miscast, myself and two other extraordinarily white blonde ladies did No Me Diga.
What? Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry I missed that one.
I'll send you the video.
One of my top, well, I loved singing Bohemian Rhapsody and doing the guitar solo with my mouth. That was one of the highlights of my life. But I loved it when you guys did whatever. That I fucking fell on the floor laughing, which I usually do. There's always at least one moment in the show where I'm just like howling, holding my side, can't stop laughing. It's so good. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this one has songs I am giddy about, and I just can't wait.
Yay. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Oh, well, nothing nearly that exciting. I'm cleansing right now. Patrick's been out of town.
Cleansing like drinking the cayenne pepper lemon and
no, I'm eating bean burritos and pizza. No.
Oh,
cleansing my space. I'm getting into like cleaning my garage, getting rid of things. Like I didn't read the Spark Joy, but it was coincidentally sparking joy. Like just touching crap and going, oh my God, why do I have this crap? And sending it on its merry way. I put shit on my corner and like now I'm obsessed. Now hang on to your furniture or your items if you come to my house, because now all I want to do is take everything to the corner and watch it disappear.
Casey calls it the magic curb.
So you do that too?
Yeah.
Okay. I never do it. I'm always like, I don't know, Goodwill or try to sell it or something, which, ugh.
So you waited till Patrick was away.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos, because he's a hoarder, a bit of a hoarder. So how much of the stuff was his that you got rid of?
I am not at liberty to say in case he decides to listen to this podcast.
He's
but I will
never going to listen.
No, I know he's never going to listen.
He's too wonderful and kind and handsome and smart and funny to listen to this podcast.
I know he has a lot going on. But no, I was very respectful. I didn't throw away show gear that there's a Joan of Arcadia blanket that I would love to say goodbye to, but it's not going to happen. And I will give you $5, anybody who messages me on Instagram who remembers Joan of Arcadia.
Oh, with Amber Tamblyn.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, of course. I mean, of course you would remember. You're
Never
like a TV, you're a walking TV guide. You are my TV guide.
That's all I have, man. I can't do math. I can't do other shit. I have useless trivia about musicals and TV and football.
But look where it's gotten you. It's gotten you a podcast, your own podcast. This is, don't diminish that. That's a skill. So yeah, I tried to not be too, but there were things that I thought maybe if I didn't even ask his opinion on. We had this, a drawing of us that we got at somebody's birthday party, like one of those cartoon, the two of us, Mandy and Patrick. And it was nicely framed. And I was like, no. Hard no. This is not hanging inside my house. There's no place I want to hang it right now. I'm putting it in the trash. God, it felt so good. And and it's translated into like other areas, Like I feel like I'm getting fit, I'm clearing out, like I'm going to go buy a new computer. I'm cleaning it all out.
Man,
it's
I feel
so
like
great.
you're coming out of the dark, right?
And I've been listening to The Year of Yes. Did you ever read or hear that book? Look at that face.
Is that Shonda Rhimes?
It is Shonda Rhimes, and I'm wondering, I feel like you would hate it.
Hate, hate, rage, despise.
Yeah. I thought I remembered you hating it.
Ooh,
I am finding it very useful.
Of course.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it very much because I love how unapologetic she is about I've had my shit, and she has, she still has the struggles, but about her being why are we all apologizing all the time? And why don't we take our space? And why do we apologize for having people take care of our kids? And why do we lie? Why do women feel all these things? And about the glass ceiling and all this stuff. And I was like, that's rad. I like her perspective a lot.
I despised her perspective.
Okay.
And
What did you
her.
hate about it? Oh, her. But do you not like her shows? You like TV?
I've never seen one of her shows.
What? You've never watched one single... She owns television. She said so at least 60
I've heard
times in the book.
about her. Oh, I tried Bridgerton. I didn't like it. No, her style of writing, I've seen parts of Grey's Anatomy, and she, to me, is very lowest common denominator. When she hit it big and it was everywhere and everyone was saying the JJ, I was like, I know I would not want to participate in any of this.
It was
so
the
I've just
JJ.
always avoided her.
The JJ caused you to break up with Shonda early on. That's so interesting.
But breakup would imply we had a relationship. We never did. I just avoid. And then for book club, somebody chose that book, had to read it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, my rider dies. My rider dies. I've got my rider dies. And she reeks of a person who's like, I said something funny or that I think is clever. I'm going to keep saying it and using it. And
oh,
not
that's
a
so
Shonda
funny.
Rhimes fan.
That's funny. I found
Unless she wants to hop on and produce a pilot I've written, in which case, love her.
Shonda.
Can't get enough of her.
Oh my God. Such a fan. Such a long-time fan.
Always been.
That's interesting. Well, maybe I'll get hired to direct on one of her shows, but that is not why I'm saying what I'm saying. I actually think that because she's so powerful and has had so much success, she has a very unique perspective about being insecure, even in the face of all those things that we think would make us more insecure, more secure. You know what I mean? I think she has a very unique, interesting perspective on life, just in general.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
She keeps talking about like hard work. And that's when I realized, oh, yeah, I don't like that. She loves to work. I'm not a hard worker. Like I can be forced to work hard, but I'm not wired that way. You know, I'm very good at having fun though.
I do know this.
Thanks.
Yes.
So anyway, hold on. Oh, my headphones. Oh my God. And the creakiest. Look, listen to my old man headphones. Like when it's time for me to clear these
stop
out.
making that noise.
No, do you see what I mean? Like I have to go clear this shit out. These headphones shouldn't even be on my head.
Right. No, you're going to TCB.
Okay.
When next we meet, you're going to take care of business. You're going to have a new computer.
Yep.
You're going to have cleaned out garage. You're going to improve your taste in reading. And you're going to tell the people right now what we are watching for the next show.
Next show, we are watching Fatherhood. And it's starring Kevin Hart. New release on Netflix. It looks funny and emotional. And I'm excited because I'm a huge Kevin Hart fan, even though I feel like there's some... I don't remember, but I feel like there's a lot of like, ooh, Kevin Hart, he's done some not so great things. So I have to research that so I can have an opinion.
All right.
But I'll watch the movie first. Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be great.
Well, we did it.
We did it. We rocked it. Thanks so much for being here.
Adios, amiga.
Adios, amiga. Cha-cha. I love you.
Te amo. Bye.
Bye. I almost left the Zoom.